50 was retaliating in a 50 type of way.
What are you talking? Yo, Black, this is what I'm saying. Like, you be off, though.
Why is that off?
Because he started the whole thing.
What do you mean?
50 started the whole thing. What are you talking about?
Papoose?
Yes!
This is where I say Mano is wrong. Okay, so in 2018, Remy Ma posted a picture of herself when she went on this major diet. She uploaded a picture of herself when she went on this major diet when we first saw the slender Remy Ma. Because Remy Ma, when she got out of prison, she was thickiana. She was thick as all outdoors. She was thicker than a Snicker. So when 50 went to her page and he saw how slender Remy Ma was, he got in the comment sections under her pic and said, damn, Remy, you done lost mad weight. What's up, Slim? This is what started the beef. He said, what's up, Slim?
Okay, wait, rewind that. Because what I just heard was somebody say 50 Cent Street started a beef over a compliment, not a diss, not a subtweet, a full-on compliment. And somehow that turned into a decade of bad blood, a husband losing his whole mind online, and a friendship that never got the chance to happen. Stay with me, because there's a detail at the end of this story that literally nobody is talking about. And once you hear it, you'll never see this beef the same way again. Let's get into it. So a commentator on Vlad's platform said Papoose started beef with 50 Cent for no reason, out of nowhere. And the internet just ran with it. Nobody checked the timeline. Well, sis, I checked it, and it is messier, pettier, and way more interesting than 50 just started it. There's jealousy, there's a prison sentence, there's a literal Bentley involved. Let's do this properly. From the top, Remy Ma posts a picture after a major weight loss. She's glowing, she's thriving, the comments are flooded with love. And one of those comments is from 50 Cent. Damn, Remy, you done lost mad weight. What's up, Slim? Read that again. That is a compliment. Nothing hostile, nothing disrespectful. If a stranger said that to your best friend, you'd say, "Ow, she's getting her flowers." But Papoose sees it, and instead of letting his wife enjoy a nice comment, he gets under that same thread and writes, "Hey, don't be commenting on my wife's weight." Sis, that is the spark. Not 50's comment, Papoose's reaction to the comment, because it takes a very specific kind of insecurity to see a compliment and instantly clock it as disrespect. And when you rush to defend against something that was never actually an attack, all you're really doing is broadcasting exactly how insecure you already were, long before this comment ever showed up.
To Remy, Papoose, Billy Badass, that's always been jealous of 50 because 50 was reaching out to Remy while she was incarcerated, making sure she was straight. 50 was one of the ones that was sticking in Remy's corner. You get what I'm saying? And Papoose at the time didn't want nobody in Remy's corner but him.
The one besides Keish that I always talk about, and every time I see him, I tell him thank you, because it wasn't like we was enemies or what. We didn't hang out together. Was 50 Cent, Mr. Curtis Jackson.
Wow.
Whenever I put in for an appellate judgment or an appeal, he made sure that letters was written. He personally signed them, telling, the judge, if you do grant her this release, she'll have a job. I'll make sure, she has a job over here. This is where she'll be working, X, Y, and Z.
Wow.
I need to hold him up to that. Like, you was going to give me a job.
What's up with that?
Let me get a check.
We need Remy on power.
Let me get a check. Yeah, I just thought about that right now.
Now, here's what nobody brings up. While Remy was locked up, 50 Cent wrote letters for her appeal, personally signed them, and told the court she'd have a job the second she was out. That's not small. That's showing up when it actually mattered, in a moment where her entire future was in someone else's hands. Now imagine being Papoose, watching another man be the one making moves for your wife's freedom while you couldn't. That's not a diss to him. That's just human. But that feeling doesn't disappear. It doesn't fade with time. It waits quietly for an excuse. And years later, one harmless comment gave it exactly the excuse it had been waiting for. This is what psychologists call displaced resentment. The real feeling is too vulnerable to say out loud, so it comes out dressed up as something else entirely, like protecting my wife.
As many times as I told you, it just hit me right now, like, yo, what's good with that job? I got paperwork saying that you would give me a job.
He didn't have the 50 Cent connect to do what 50 Cent was doing, and Papoose was jealous of 50 Cent. Okay, we finna keep it real, because back in the day, I think this was the early 2000s, they did an interview with 50 Cent, and they said, who is your favorite female rapper? And 50 Cent said, Remy Ma, no doubt. I fucks with Remy. Remy is one of the top tier rappers, and you can look that up. I'm not talking fictional. I'm talking facts. Okay, Mano sitting on this platform trying to drag 50 like 50 just tried Papoose out of the blue. No, he did not. Papoose got up under 50 Cent comment under that picture where Remy was looking slender. He got up under there and said, hey, don't be commenting about my wife's weight. At that point, Papoose started the beef.
Then there's the Bentley. Remy, front seat, talking business with 50 about her comeback. Papoose standing in the background, looking away. Body language does not lie, sis. Secure people stand next to their partner in a big moment. Uncomfortable people look the other way. And on top of that, 50 had already said years earlier, unprompted, that Remy was his favorite female rapper. No hesitation. That's not just a compliment, that's a cosign, and cosigns hit different in this industry. So now you've got history, respect, a Bentley moment that looked a little too comfortable, and a husband trying not to let his face give him away.
50 Cent replied back, he was like, damn, what's going on? All I said was, she lost weight, which she did. She is slender. He said, listen, man, I'm not finna beef with a married man about his wife. That was 50 Cent's next rebuttal. He said, man, I'm not finna beef with a married man about his wife. And Papoose started saying slick stuff. Then he started posting pictures of 50 Cent when 50 Cent played that movie where he had to lose all that weight as a character that was sickly or whatever the case may be. So Papoose initially started the beef out of playing like he was protecting his wife, but he was really jealous of 50 Cent way before 50 even commented. Remember when Remy got out of prison and 50 met up with Remy to talk about her next moves since she's out and she's free now, and she was sitting in that Bentley with 50 Cent. Papoose was standing in the rear trying to look the opposite way because he was in his feelings about his wife being in this nice Bentley that belongs to 50 Cent, and Remy sitting front seat and they talking business, but he know that evidently 50 might have had a little crush on Remy because of the skills that she possessed as an MC. Anyway, so just to clear that up, when Mano got on there talking, he was talking out of his feelings. He was talking because he don't like Curtis Jackson. He wasn't talking because he was knowledgeable and he knew 50 Cent for a fact came for Papoose. He just hate when anybody say anything positive about Curtis Jackson.
Watch the actual order here. 50 compliments Remy. Papoose warns him off, and 50 says, listen, man, I'm not going to beef with a married man about his wife. That is a mature, respectful step back. Story should have ended right there. But Papoose didn't stop. He started throwing slick comments, then dug up old movie pictures of 50 from a role where he lost weight for a sick character, just to mock him. That's not protecting your wife anymore, sis. That's premeditated. That takes effort. Compliment, warning, respectful retreat, then a targeted personal attack. There is no version of that timeline where 50 is the aggressor. So why does the 50 started it story keep getting repeated? Simple, because it was never about facts. Some commentators just don't like Curtis Jackson, period, and any excuse to paint him as the villain. They'll take it every single time. That's not analysis, that's bias wearing a headline. And here's the twist nobody's connecting. Papoose still brings up that old job offer as a joke. But notice when he brings it up. almost always right when 50's name resurfaces in conversation. That's not random. That's someone who never fully let go of feeling like the outsider in his own wife's biggest comeback story, using every chance, even a joke about a job, to remind everyone he mattered too. This was never really about what's up, Slim. This is Papoose versus his own insecurity, and 50 just happened to be standing there giving a genuine compliment when it all finally boiled over. Petty? Maybe. Human? Also maybe. Accurate to call it 50 started the beef? Not even close. And here's a question worth sitting with before we close this out. If a story like this happened in a private text instead of a public comment section, does anyone even remember it 5 years later? Probably not. Social media took a small human moment of insecurity and turned it into a permanent, searchable, quotable piece of celebrity history. Every reply after that first comment wasn't just a feeling anymore. It became a performance for an audience. That's part of why this got so big in the first place. And it's also worth saying, Remy Ma barely gets talked about in her own story. She posted a picture celebrating her hard work, and it turned into a battleground between her husband and a man who genuinely shown up for her during the hardest chapter of her life. That's not flattering, that's exhausting. She's spoken with real gratitude about what 50 did for her, and that gratitude never went away just because it became socially inconvenient for someone else. So here's the full gut check. Did 50 Cent street art this? Based on the actual documented order of events, no. He complimented someone he respects, got pushed back on, and stepped away immediately and respectfully. Every move that actually escalated this came from the other side. That doesn't make Papoose a villain. It makes him human, carrying an insecurity he never quite named out loud. But it does mean the popular narrative floating around, the one repeated confidently with zero receipts, just isn't true. Now that you know the real timeline, next time this story pops up in your feed, you're the one setting the record straight in the comments. And that's the full cup, no sugar added. If this cleared something up for you, smash that like. And if you're not part of Celeb Spill yet, come on in. Drop a comment, Team Remy, Team 50, or Team Papoose needs therapy. See you in the next one.